Another Thursday, another live with another interesting topic today. Introducing myself first, my name is Ria Jain and I'm the head of iThrive Academy. I have Manisha with me today, who's a functional nutritionist, and much more. She'll be introducing herself. Manisha, would you please go ahead?
So, hello everyone. My name is Manisha, and I've recently got a promotion and become a health coach now. So,
Oh,
I'm both
great.
functional nutritionist and health coach. And I would like to welcome everyone who has joined the live. And today's topic is very interesting. It's about PCOS, Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. And people usually get confused with PCOD and PCOS. And it's how to work on it and how to tackle this condition is also the varieties is too many in the outside world in
You
net
will
internet.
hear you will hear different people giving you different advices. Uh,
Yes,
so
and thanks to Google Baba, lots of information is there to distract a person. So today
exactly.
we are here to clear out all the myths about PCOS, and we would really like if you all just put your queries in the comment section. We will definitely look into it after the towards the end of the live session.
Yes, and we would also like you to, put any weird recommendations that you've heard of for PCOS. So the topic, to be precise, is functional nutrition approach for PCOS, where we'll be covering a lot of, different subtopics, and also towards the end we'll be discussing about how functional nutrition does it differently. So Manisha, would you want to start with, actually taking our audience through what PCOS exactly is?
Yeah, so basically, PCOS is a hormonal disorder in which females' ovaries get enlarged and cyst also comes starts developing. And the second thing, what happens is, so all female and male have certain hormones, sex hormones, which we known as. Males have androgens and testosterone. Females have progesterone and estrogen, but some quantity of male hormones are also present in females. So in PCOS, these male hormones starts getting increased by mistakenly by our ovaries, and sometimes ovaries get enlarged and cyst also starts developing, and this whole condition hormonal disorder known as PCOS. Now when all these things starts happening, how will you get to know that you are having PCOS? There are certain symptoms like infertility or period cycle will get disturbed. You might miss your periods, or the blood flow will be very less. There will be body hair issues. There will be acne, major acne issues. There will be different areas hair grow, which is usually common in males, which we call as male pattern hair
Yes.
growth. And there you the people might face dark and skin patches under their neck, under their armpits, under their breast area. So these are some very common, I would say, symptoms which person can diagnose that she is having PCOS.
Exactly. Symptoms are something that you need to look into and not just rely on irregular periods as one of the criteria for, you being suffering from PCOS. We'll be again talking about how you can actually know if you're suffering from PCOS or it's just a problem with, messed up reproductive health or messed up reproductive system. So these symptoms, as Manisha rightly mentioned, I would just like to add one more symptom to this. If you are someone who along with these symptoms is facing that you've been gaining weight very suddenly, so sudden weight
Yes.
gain is also one of the very important symptoms to be looked into from all the others that Manisha mentioned. I'll repeat, not irregular periods but the presence of these other symptoms, and looking for anovulation, so an anovulatory cycle which continues for quite a good period of time. That is also one of the indicators that you might be suffering from PCOS, that is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So now, having talked about the meaning and the symptoms of this problem of this hormonal disorder, where Manisha mentioned, the male hormone, that is testosterone, is on the rise in a female's body. There are common solutions that we all have come across that Google has shown us to be, very effective, to be playing very effective role in, helping you manage this problem of PCOS. So, Manisha, you had a very cute smile on your face. What comes to your mind?
Yeah, so I recently saw this article in which they have written very boldly that soya products will be very, very beneficial item for increasing the estrogen
My
for
God.
PCOS person. And even when I was working lately, people used to recommend them that avoid fruits totally, because it will affect their PCOS condition and it will affect the cyst formation in the ovaries. So these were two very weird solution females used to get. And I think you were also while we were discussing about the topic, even you said two or three very weird solutions.
Yes, so while we were discussing the weird solutions that, these are not actually weird, but people do think that it's the only strategy that can help you manage PCOS. So the first thing is, as the woman might be suffering from, irregular periods and or no periods at all for a long period of time. So the first thing that is usually recommended is the birth control pill or oral contraceptive pills to make sure that there is period. But let me tell you, that's not an actual period, that's just a withdrawal bleed, and that's a fake period that is just created. So that's never the answer. Don't be happy that you've got your periods back and the problem has gotten resolved. No. So again, this was something that was done like a while back. Then people got to know that, yeah, there's something more to it. You need to also look into this problem of insulin resistance. People got to know that insulin resistance can be one of the reasons why women are suffering from PCOS. So again, for that, without looking into the lifestyle, without making lifestyle changes in the form of changing dietary choices, or focusing on your sleep, stress, and all the other factors, it was just again recommended that you can pop a pill for managing your insulin resistance. And metformin was very popular, is
I
a
think
very was.
they were not even checking the blood test
Oh yes,
also.
no, no, no,
Whether
no, no. That was just
yeah.
an assumption, as I told you. That was just an assumption made that insulin resistance can be the reason. So metformin also became a very popular drug. It is actually a very popular drug being used for to manage this problem of insulin resistance without actually knowing that this person is suffering from insulin resistance. Moving ahead, we are going to discuss about how a person can also find out about his susceptibility of being insulin resistant, or pre insulin resistant. So that's
And
one.
even in gyms also, if you will go and tell the gym instructor that you are facing PCOD or PCOS condition, the first thing they will start recommending is go take that dumbbell, take 50 kgs, run on the treadmill for an hour. All these weird recommendations are usually given by them. So I guess we have lost Ria, and meanwhile, we'll just move forward with, in case you have got any weird solutions, then, oh, I think we got Ria back. Yeah, so in case you have got any weird solutions by any doctor or any gym instructor, do mention us on the comment section, and definitely we will help you in knowing a better solution for that. So what are the causes for this PCOS condition? Majorly our lifestyle plays a very major role here, and how our gut health plays a very major role here. And what people end up thinking is there only one kind of a PCOS in which female are facing weight gain and ovaries are having cyst in the females are having cyst in their ovaries. But what is majorly important for a person to understand is there are different type of PCOS depending upon your condition. There are different types, and we are going to discuss of PCOS. One is insulin resistance. Yes, as okay, we got you
Okay.
back.
So yeah, internet
No
just
worries.
went. there for a second. So we were discussing the common
Yeah.
solutions,
So I
right?
just started. Yeah. Yeah, I just started with the causes. So I was telling everyone that there are different types of PCOS. So one of it
Right.
is insulin resistance. So I think you would like to tell more about it.
Yes, yes. I would very much like to, discuss the types and the causes together, because if you understand about the types, the causes would, already discussed. So, as Manisha mentioned, one of the types of PCOS is insulin resistant PCOS. Before we go ahead, there was just one common solution that I wanted to put across, was people usually are asked to lose weight. It's necessary, but then again, it's not the only solution that you need to look out for, that if you lose weight and your problem of PCOS would be taken care
I
of.
think
So
it is because people think that weight is something which has to be kept as a first priority when it comes to
exactly,
any lifestyle diseases. They don't know, actually the knowledge is not there about other parameters to be taken care.
absolutely, yes. So that was one common solution. Coming back to the causes and the, excuse me, types of PCOS. So one of the of PCOS would be insulin resistant PCOS, where this lady, this woman would be suffering from insulin resistance, underlying insulin resistance, and this, so insulin resistance is a problem where the insulin levels are on the rise. Okay, why? Because your body is not able to take action from this hormone insulin, and its action is basically resisted. Now it would be a whole different topic to of discussion on how or on how the action of insulin gets resisted. We won't be going there now. For that, if you want to know more, there I think is one of the lives we had discussed about this. So talking about insulin resistant PCOS, this overproduction of insulin in the body is what triggers the ovaries to overproduce testosterone actually. That is what Manisha had mentioned, right, initially, that it's the testosterone, male hormone, that rises. So insulin resistance or high levels of insulin are what is triggering the ovaries to overproduce testosterone here, and the problem of PCOS. So you need to first get yourself checked that if you are suffering from insulin resistance. So what could be the tests that would help you understand if you're insulin resistant? Manisha, do you want to, as a health coach, I'm sure you might be explaining this thing almost on a daily basis to all our clients.
So, the best test to cross check insulin resistance is your diabetes panel, your sugar levels, and even your cholesterol levels. If, these both things has to be, checked on a regular basis, because
I think
insulin
more than
is.
cholesterol, the diabetes panel. So when you say blood sugar levels, I think blood sugar levels also have become now, so
Serum.
they keep on fluctuating. So
Yeah.
insulin is something that a person needs to check. So the insulin levels, both the fasting and the postprandial insulin levels. So if these are on a very higher side, it's a clear indicator, along with C-peptide being on a higher side, it's a clear indicator that you are suffering from this problem of insulin resistance. So that is one of the causes, and the types. So cause is insulin resistance and type is insulin resistant PCOS. Another type of PCOS would be inflammatory PCOS, where inflammation inside the body is driving the ovaries again to overproduce testosterone. Now, there are certain signs and symptoms you can look out for inflammation, but the blood parameters would be the best ones to, actually help you understand, because these symptoms are really confusing. So, symptoms would be, over fatigue, you feel like tired all the time, there's
Yeah,
joint
because these
pain.
are very common ones. Every third
Exactly.
person might be facing, and you will get shocked, Ria, that sometimes people are not aware about the infection panels, like what is WBCs, what is neutrophils, and all, what is HSCRP, what
Okay.
is ESR, they are not at all aware about it. They just say that, okay, this is
Aware.
in the range, why we need to take care of that. What exactly these parameters are meant for. So, inflammatory markers are actually very, very important to understand this inflammation regarding PCOS.
PCOS.
But, Ria, there is very interesting PCOS, which recently even I learned from you, known as lean PCOS.
I was going to actually jump at that now. So weight gain. So we know that obesity induced PCOS. It can be a outcome of both insulin resistance and inflammatory PCOS. But at the same time, there is something also called as lean PCOS. So it's the type of PCOS, which usually women who are lean or on a thinner side they suffer from. So that is a outcome of continuous or long term popping of pills. So if this lady is popping pills for a long period of time, pills for regularizing periods or birth control pills for that matter, when you come off those pills, or if if you're not having these pills for or you've stopped having them for some reasons, you've heard that these are not good, there's a sudden surge of testosterone because of the content these pills include. So because of the ingredients that are present in these pills, these birth control pills or oral contraceptive pills, there is a sudden rise in the testosterone levels, and you will see symptoms of PCOS in people who are thin. So that's one of the reasons, and that also becomes one of the types of PCOS, that is post pill PCOS. So lean and post pill, one of the reason for lean PCOS is popping these pills for a long period of time. And also, as I told you, these people are lean and on a thinner side. So there's not enough fat in their body. Okay, your body requires some amount of fat. It requires fat for like n number of functions that it plays. So one of the functions that cholesterol has in our body is the production. It aids in the production of these steroid hormones. All our sex hormones are steroid hormones, meaning they require fat, they require cholesterol for their production. So if you are lean on a thinner side, you have low fat, like, right, in your body, that also makes you susceptible for falling prey to this problem of lean PCOS.
So I
So
guess we are bursting two myths here. One is that PCOS is not only about fat people, even
yes,
thin girls can suffer it. And second, fats are not bad for your body. You know, you
true.
require some amount of healthy fats, not the unhealthy, but healthy fat is required by your body because otherwise hormones will go haywire.
I, that's like very rightly said. That's actually one of the functional nutrition tips that can be explained, can be put across for our audience today, that you need to include good fat if you are someone who is suffering from PCOS. Okay, that's one of the tips, include good fats. And there's again one more cause to your PCOS problem is adrenal PCOS. So adrenals, they have to do with your stress. So this basically is stress induced PCOS, but is put as adrenal PCOS. So if you are someone who is stressed, so knowingly or unknowingly we all are stressed out. But then for you to actually diagnose that if you're suffering from adrenal PCOS, again there are good markers. You can get yourself tested for this particular parameter called as DHEAS. It's actually a precursor for the formation of sex hormone, especially testosterone in a female's body. So what would happen here is your testosterone levels would still be okay, but DHEAS would be on a higher side, meaning your adrenals are hyper functioning because you are stressed out. So that's a cycle that goes on when you are stressed out. So that is also something that you need to look into.
So, is it like because of the adrenal PCOS, that is one of the reason why females face anxiety and
Oh yes.
okay,
So
and
these
depression and
can
all?
be some added symptoms of PCOS,
Okay,
not very direct symptoms. Like the direct symptoms that you mentioned were because of this hormonal
haywire.
imbalance, right?
Yeah,
But then, depending on the cause, there are like added symptoms that can also be seen. So if you are someone who is suffering from insulin resistance, you will crave sweets a lot, right?
yeah.
If you are someone who's suffering from adrenal PCOS, as you rightly mentioned, that you might suffer from anxiety issues, your emotions would be all over the place. There will be depressive tendencies, episodes that you will see. right? So that also is impacting your reproductive system and making you fall prey to this problem of PCOS. So
So,
that's,
and
yeah.
if a person is facing inflammatory regarding PCOS, then definitely his or her, his sorry, her gut is not healthy.
Oh yes, definitely. It's not again just related to inflammatory. Inflammation does lead to problems in your gut. But if you are someone who's already suffering from a poor gut health because of again a number of reasons, which this particular live would be very short to be discussed
Yeah.
about. So poor gut health, a very important cause that you have put out, Manisha. So poor gut health again, if you know of someone who is suffering from PCOS, try and fix their gut issues, because even your gut is causing inflammation, and this inflammation is again triggering your ovaries to overproduce testosterone. So that's the cycle there. So poor gut health is one of the reasons that can lead to PCOS.
And as there's a direct connection between our gut and brain, so definitely we'll not be able to, some way or the
Yes,
other, it is going to affect our brain function also.
yes, yes, yes. Very, very great connections that you are bringing out here. So
So we are
yeah,
not
that's
only covering PCOS, we're covering other parts also because
our body
body
is
is
not
connected.
isolated, right?
Yeah.
The reproductive
Yeah.
system is not something that is going to get impacted on its own. The other changes in your body are what causing reproductive system changes also, right?
Okay.
So
So Riya,
that,
I just had one point here. So while I was studying more about PCOS, I read that if PCOS will not be taken care, it can lead to other lifestyle diseases also, like high blood pressure, diabetes. Is this because of other the causes which we mentioned right now?
yeah, it can be. So insulin resistance can, lead to high blood pressure over a period of time. Even inflammation, for that matter, can trigger other metabolic problems over a period of time. So PCOS in itself, because of its cause, because of the different causes that had caused PCOS, can lead to other life problems also. So this is also something that you need to understand before you just blindly start following things without looking at the causes. So that was the main actually idea behind covering PCOS from a functional nutrition approach, because we can now give you a lot of tips. We are actually going to discuss a lot of tips, but then had we discussed only these tips, like like the usual recommendations that you would find on Google, or you would have heard or read somewhere, it wouldn't do justice to your body. You need to first identify causes, because if I am suffering from PCOS, if you are suffering from PCOS, both of our causes are different, right? For me, it could be inflammation. For you it could be insulin resistance. So the way we heal it, the healing approach also changes,
Yeah,
right?
it will be totally customized because your
Yes,
blood
so
report will say something else, mine will say something else. Therefore, I think
absolutely.
blood parameters and testing them is way too important than just finding out whether person is facing diabetes or cholesterol issues.
Absolutely, yes.
So apart from so one of the major, I would say, functional nutrition approach towards curing the PCOS is blood test parameters, analyzing it and everything. Apart from that, I think from my end, I would say that as you mentioned about inflammatory PCOS, for that we really need to start searching our kitchen that what all inflammatory food items we are taking. Most of us, we usually, like, this is very common. If you go to some other practitioner, they will say stop gluten, stop dairy, but people still think that certain items are gluten free but end up taking, like for example, rava. People think that it's gluten free, but it's actually not. So that proper knowledge about what is inflammatory, what is gluten, what is exactly why we are asking, why we say dairy should not be consumed if you are facing inflammation problem, is
The
very
why.
important. The why is very
The
important.
why is what you need to understand. It's not about so yeah, you very rightly mentioned, practitioners, they keep on just saying, the first thing when they get you on board is stop having gluten, dairy, vegetable, seed oils. But there has to be someone who also explains about the why of it. A very beautiful point. I think all of our audience here, they need to understand, because gluten is inflammatory, because vegetable seed oils are inflammatory, because dairy, the packaged pasteurized dairy is full of hormones, just to increase the milk production. That's doing no good to our body, and that is why it's a no no. It's not that the practitioners just like you to be, or it's a fad nowadays to put
Yeah.
you off these things.
Yes. Yes.
More
Yes.
importantly, you need to understand that these are all that trigger the causes inside your body. So that's why you need to avoid these. The another tip that I would want to recommend our audience would looking for symptoms. So it usually what usually happens is people just freak out when they see presence of a lot of cysts in the ovaries. Okay, this usually happens as part of lifestyle changes, but along with that you need to look for specific symptoms that are true for PCOS. So hirsutism, as you had mentioned, the male-like hair growth in women that is seen on the chest area, on the back area, on your face,
On the chin
especially,
area.
yeah, on your chin, where women usually don't grow hair. That's one very classic symptom that you need to look into. Acne, changes in your skin, right? Growth of or occurrence of these acne out of
Even the dark
the
patches.
blue. That would be looked into. Along with this, the problem of irregular periods and infertility makes it true. So this is how you can look for symptoms and actually understand that, yeah, you might be suffering from PCOS. The other step would be looking at the causes. So that
Causes.
would be the other tip, other functional nutrition tip, that you need to look at the causes that we just discussed. And then you need to go. So the practitioner again would help you understand what test do you need to go for in order to diagnose these problems.
Yeah. And
So
after, I think, going through the test and analyzing it, that okay, these are I think nutrient deficiency is something which most of the practitioners don't consider,
yes,
and they only end up talking about macronutrients, but forget somewhere that micro also plays a very very major role. And
yes.
micronutrients are something which we usually not able to achieve through food items. So
The
supplements also, plays a very major role here, I would say.
Yes, and people are, I think they are unnecessarily scared of these supplements. But if
Yeah.
you look at the food quality nowadays, you're not getting nutrients at all. I wouldn't say even enough. You're not getting micronutrients at all, and with the problem that you're suffering from, your requirement all the more increases. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that is where you need to get in a good quality supplement for you, for the problem that you're suffering from, right? So
yeah.
any supplements that we recommend back at iThrive to our clients, Manisha?
Yes, the best is magnesium. Magnesium is very good for, balancing your hormones. Then you can people can also take ashwagandha, because as one of the type is adrenal PCOS,
Yes.
ashwagandha will actually help in relaxing the body and help in adrenal glands to function better.
Yes.
And then it is one of the supplement is also known as shatavari. So it is something which has been taken since
Ages.
our ages. So it is actually a safe one. It directly helps the female reproductive system to work in a balanced
Balance
form.
out hormones. Yes.
So these are the major ones which a person can take. But again, it, like you said, that people are scared of supplements. One of the reason is proper knowledge is not out there. And if a certain person is saying take that much amount of supplement on a daily basis, people start following it without getting a proper knowledge.
Yeah,
So
the dosage
proper
is not the
knowledge,
same
yeah.
for everyone, right?
Dosage is not same for everyone. Even the bioavailable form of that particular supplement is also not
Very
mentioned
rightly
properly
put.
in the market. So that is actually very very important to be addressed. So supplements are not bad for your body and for your
Not
system,
at all.
people sometimes end up feeling that we'll take supplements, our liver will get destroyed. No, actually, because it all depends on what kind of a bioavailable form of supplement you are taking.
And what kind of supplement that you're taking?
Supplement
The
you are taking,
ingredient.
yeah, ingredients basically. So obviously, if you go out in a market and go for a cheaper ones, definitely they're going to
Of course.
uh, cause problem to your liver. So that the proper knowledge about the supplement is very very important. But as I mentioned, these four supplements, these can be taken by a female who is facing PCOS, but I'll still recommend get in touch with your practitioner and then only start with the dosage part.
Yeah, because see, the tips that we have come up to now, these are generalized tips. We are not explaining or recommending these tips as per the causes that we had discussed, right? Because for a particular cause and for the tips to be shared, it will be a whole protocol that needs to be, put out. So that a practitioner and a person can do it on their own, one on one, because that would again, consider your individualized physiology and everything, your likes, dislikes, the way you are living, right? So these are just tips that we are putting across. So supplements, as Manisha rightly mentioned, with the whole important point on why supplements are not bad and you need to actually take them because of the heightened requirement that a condition demands. So that would be something. Again, talking about foods, the macros are important, as Manisha had only mentioned. So macros, when it comes to macros, not only carbs but good quality protein. So good quality protein again is something that I had heard of, Manisha, that it is asked to be avoided. So
Oh,
people are actually, yeah, asked to not eat non-vegetarian food and focus on a plant-based diet. But then again, the bioavailability of nutrients is something that matters. Good quality protein is something that you need to eat because of all the nutrients that it contains, and the major thing that is all the good quality protein it contains, right?
yeah,
You
and
need
with
all
good
of that.
quality, I think it matters that from where you are
Yes,
purchasing your protein.
yes.
Because I have also heard this that if you increase your protein intake, cholesterol problem will happen, and you end up facing some heart problems. So it it doesn't happen. It doesn't go like that.
It actually, yes, as you mentioned, it actually depends on where you are sourcing it from. You need to source your non-vegetarian foods or the animal products from a good seller, right? That that the animal is not given a grain feed, it is grass fed, that is pasture raised, right? So all of these things are what you need to look into, and not just blame animal products for raising your cholesterol, and they include saturated fats and the myths like that, which we have bunked time and again in all the lives that we're doing. So that's about including good quality protein, along with that including good quality fats, because we talked about
Clean
lean
foods, yes.
PCOS. You also need good, and for that matter, even if you're not suffering from lean PCOS, or if your type of PCOS is different, you need to include good quality fat diet. So with good quality, we've already told you the bad one, that is the vegetable and cereal. So the good quality ones would be good. A2 milk ghee would be a very good option. Organic butter would be a good option, right? You get good quality
Coconut,
fat from, yeah,
coconut oil can
coconut
also be
oil.
added.
Yes, coconut oil can be a very safe and good option, right? So this is how you include good quality fats, even in the form of include, if you are a non-vegetarian, fatty fish can help
Yeah.
you include good omega 3s, or a good omega 3 supplement can also help you here.
And
Uh,
eggs are actually very good for
oh
good
yes,
protein sources
not to forget
and fat sources.
again,
Yeah.
fat.
So,
So good.
apart from all these good protein sources and fat sources, there are very hidden kitchen herbs also, which is very, very good for our PCOS
Oh yes.
condition. And it is going to be very good because they are anti-inflammatory also. So, the person, if she is following, suffering from inflammatory PCOS, not only a particular person who is facing from inflammatory, others also, anti-inflammatory food items which are hidden in our kitchens, specifically Indian kitchens, are very, very helpful for females.
Yes.
So, can you
So
mention one or two?
two come to my mind on the top of my mind are cinnamon and fenugreek seeds. They work the best for, and as you mentioned, they have anti-inflammatory properties. So if you are someone who is again suffering from this problem of insulin resistance, fenugreek seeds are something that would help you there also. And these two herbs, they work beautifully for this problem of PCOS also. Again, it's a generalized tip, guys. If you start including, and if your problem does not go away, we are not to blame. It's the cause, it's your cause that needs to be blamed. Don't blindly start following because Riya and Manisha did a live and you started having it. Find the cause and then start applying these strategies one by one, right? Is what would be one message that I would want to give. And there's a question that had come like real initially while we had started, that no periods for 6 months, can seed cycle help? So, Varun, we are doing a live on PCOS. Now, no periods for 6 months again won't necessarily be that the person, that this woman is suffering from PCOS, right? There could be some other issue that this woman might be suffering from, and there wouldn't be periods for 6 months. Seed cycling does help. It helps with hormonal balance, especially progesterone and estrogen. I haven't heard seed cycling helping in reducing the testosterone levels, which is the case here that we are discussing about PCOS. So seed cycling would help this woman balance out the hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone, but not necessarily bring down the testosterone levels. And again, if there are no periods for 6 months, we discussed the causes. If these are true, along with the other symptoms that Manisha had mentioned, diagnose, help the woman understand if she's suffering from PCOS or no. Okay, so that would be the answer there. So, Manisha, I
Okay,
think,
I have a question, Ria. Is does sleep pattern affects
oh,
the PCOS condition?
yes, lifestyle again, your lifestyle becomes really important. So, one of the functional nutrition tips again to add would be, looking at your sleep cycle, because if you're not sleeping properly, you are adding unnecessary. Even sleep uh, is it mine?
So even I think what I remember is like there's this very important hormone known as melatonin, which actually cycles our sleep, which some way or the other prepares our body for the next day, and some way or the other helps our hormones to get settled, and so that the balance can go inside the body. So is that the reason? Because if us affecting our sleep, melatonin production and working will get affected, and because of which also it can affect our reproductive health.
Yeah, melatonin imbalances, and especially sleep being a stressful condition. More of it, I would like to blame cortisol here, because if you're not sleeping properly, if you have a very bad sleep cycle, you are inducing stress in your body. This could be unknowingly. You wouldn't be stressed out as such, but then if you're not sleeping properly, that itself is creating a stressful condition in your body, right? So I would blame cortisol here for the reproductive issues you might be suffering from if you are someone who's not sleeping well. So
And
that
so I think with sleep cycle, somewhere we have to blame smoking and alcohol consumption too, because nowadays I think females, I would not directly blame females, but it has been increasing nowadays. Will not deny
yes,
that. So
yes,
it is somewhere or the other playing a very major role in their reproductive health.
true
So
that.
if
Again, now
anyone
with
is suffering from PCOS, I think they have to work on it too.
so you need to again understand the why of it, because
Yeah.
smoking leads to oxidative stress, because alcohol leads to a lot of inflammation. It's a toxin in the end, right?
Yeah.
And this reminds me of all the toxins that we are exposed to on
Yeah.
a daily basis. This would be unknowingly the toxins that we are exposed to, the inorganic produce that we are getting and eating, the
And
pollution that we,
the major toxins which females are inducing in their body is cosmetic, which is penetrating through skin. I think that is something which is not getting reduced. It is increasing only
yes.
nowadays.
So these are factors which we really cannot control. Some of them, yes, we really can. But then if other factors are taken care of, I think that's where we there's a scope of like real improvement and also reversal of this problem. There's a question that's just come in, that period में heavy blood clots होते हैं. Seventh hair thinning, side part hair loss. So please tell about food या home tips. So again, tips we've already discussed. Now this problem, I don't know if it is PCOS or no, because heavy bleeding, clots are again signs of other problems. So there are a lot of reproductive problem, guys. It's not just PCOS that women suffer from. There's endometriosis, right? There's uterine fibroids, which can do that. Okay, so all of these problems can lead to similar symptoms, but there
Proper
are
diagnosis is very important.
criteria, and proper diagnosis is really important. So a food or a home tip wouldn't help here for the problem of blood clots. I think you need to get your cause checked here, and the problem, you need to get your problem diagnosed here to get a very good, food recommendation or tips to be done at home. So Manisha, any closing statements from your side for our
Yeah, so
audience?
I just want to add one thing, that nutritional functional nutrition approaches, the beauty of functional nutrition approach is that we don't check one part of the problem, but we go in deep and analyze it, that what is the cause, why it is happening, and then start working on it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, whosoever is taking this approach, that the time will give yourself some time, give your body some time, let it get healed, not only the reproductive part but other parts also.
Very nicely said, because the abuse has been for so long. You cannot expect
Yeah,
functional nutrition to work as a magic, or
magic.
like a magic wand to set things for you like immediately. It will take time, as Manisha said, and it does take time, but it gives you fruitful results in the end.
Yeah.
So that is what. And if there is something, that is bothering you symptom wise, get the root cause checked, visit a functional nutrition practitioner. He or she will definitely help you there, and I Thrive does that. So that's that. And anything from you, Manisha, before we end?
No, I think you would be the better person to give one closure.
All right, so that was something that I wanted to tell you all, that get your root causes checked. Don't just follow blindly. Don't just follow anything blindly that you see, because anything can become a fad nowadays. Just
Yeah.
because people do it, it wouldn't be true for you. So thanks a lot, Manisha, for sharing your insights and helping our audience know about this wonderful topic of PCOS, and help them correct their myths.
Thank you so much.
All right, Chalo, bye.
Bye.